The Dragon Ball Z anime has been such a popular staple in American culture since its debut all those years ago. I remember watching it every single day after school on Toonami, getting hyped on who Goku and the Z Fighters would be going against next. Little did us dumb Americans know, Japan had experienced Goku and his friends for many years with the original series, Dragon Ball. Well, as anything popular goes, video games come soon after. Dragon Ball was never a stranger to having video games, and with the MMORPG boom during the 2000s, Dragon Ball itself got an MMORPG. No, we are not talking about Dragon Ball Xenoverse, which is actually a spiritual successor to the online MMORPG, since it bears a lot of similarities to DBO, even some of its storyline. DBO never actually came to America though, but the game was short-lived anyways. The game was released in Korea in 2010 and got shut down as little as 3 years later in 2013. Hell, it only got released in 2 other territories, those being Hong Kong and Taiwan, those servers also being shut down in 2013. Strangely though, the game was picked up by the fans who translated the game and hosted their own servers, allowing those in the West to finally experience it. The DBO community actually has quite a few servers to pick from, with each server being slightly different in terms of features, optimization, and versions. In general though, with any of them that you pick, you will find the common grounds being that DBO is a fairly generic MMORPG, which makes sense since its source engine is over a decade old. The graphics by today's standards are pretty subpar, and the music doesn't necessarily feel Dragon Ball-esque, but it does the job in terms of atmosphere. Creating a character in Dragon Ball Online will feel weird because you actually start out as a child with a choice between 3 races and 2 classes per race. The humans have the choice to be spiritualists or martial artists. Namekians can be warriors or dragon clans, and finally Majins can be mighties or wonders. Each class choice can also further upgrade into a choice of 2 subclasses, technically bringing the game's total class count to 12, at least in the versions I played. Once you create a character, you are thrown into the game's storyline, in which your character, who is from the future, is flung into the past by some time rift that appears. The game begins, if you choose to, with a tutorial at the Kami House, where it will teach you basic mechanics such as camera movement, moving your character, and fighting in combat. DBO takes the classic tab target combat system. Clicking an enemy or swapping targets with the tab key will allow you to attack them with either your auto attack or skills you learn and assign to your keyboard buttons. Each class I mentioned earlier will fit into the normal MMORPG roles: DPS, tank, healer, or hybrid, so it's worth reading up on a few guides before diving into the game properly, at least if you don't want to waste time playing something you may not like. Once the tutorial is completed, depending on your race, you will start in a general questing area that will further teach you the game. Dragon Ball Online, as I said earlier, will definitely feel like a generic MMORPG. Leveling can feel like a grind, as most of the time, you are going to be pushing through story quests and side quests to get those sweet level ups, all the way up to a cap of 60 or 70 depending on the server you are playing.
Vegeta, what does the scouter say about his power level? It's over 9,000! What, 9,000?
What? No way.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing when I say it's grindy or generic. You gotta remember that Dragon Ball Online released back in 2010. Many of the MMORPGs back then were very much like this one, where you more or less grind quests and kill monsters to level up, with very little to break up that monotony. Personally, I find retro games like this to be fun to experience, especially as a Dragon Ball fan. Since it takes place in the Dragon Ball universe, the game does sport a couple unique features, like having your character advance to an adult.
I need an adult.
I am an adult.
As well as being able to master the different forms like Kaioken, Super Saiyan, Super Namek, and Majin Ultimate.
Failure.
PvE content is pretty healthy, consisting of the leveling experience as well as group dungeons to play. Servers also tend to have communities that gather for PvP, either just to have fun or to compete in tournaments, similar to how the characters did in the anime. So overall, there is a decent amount of PvE and PvP gameplay to offer. In terms of other features, there is crafting, pets, guilds, Dragon Ball collection, titles you can earn, guild emblem creation, a vast map to explore and roleplay within, equipment upgrading, dojos, and I'm sure much more that I'm missing. Now, a couple things I do need to mention that may deter you from playing DBO is since the game is old, these servers are limited in what they can do. Certain builds of DBO have tons of performance issues and general bugs that you may experience while playing. Things like stuttering, general performance hiccups, crashes, translation errors, and gameplay bugs can be common to run into. In some cases, some of the features I mentioned earlier might not even be working properly. These teams are trying their best to fix whatever they can with the limited tools they are given. That's unfortunately just the nature of the beast. Not to mention, these teams are also working completely free for the community. Some servers definitely have more polish than others, but it's something you will want to be comfortable with potentially if you plan to dive into the game. Speaking of communities, whichever server you choose to try, it's best to integrate yourself into the player base by joining their Discord or hopping on the forums. Much of the player base will be willing to help out newer players by offering written guides, showing informative videos, or maybe even offering to let you join their guild. This is a classic MMORPG experience after all, so go out there and try to make some friends. If you never even knew Dragon Ball Online existed and you are a big fan of the manga or the anime, I say the game is at least worth a try. It's definitely a retro-styled MMORPG though, so expect relatively slow movement and archaic combat compared to its future incarnations like the aforementioned Dragon Ball Xenoverse. It's interesting to think about what this game could have been had it not been shut down and actually released in the West. There was planned content that unfortunately got cut before it fully released, like a third class the humans could become called the Engineer. Maybe someday these servers could re-implement some of this lost content that never saw the light of day. Unfortunately, the game will never have the mainstream success it might have deserved, but at least the fans keep it alive for now. If you are interested in checking out Dragon Ball Online, a simple search on Google will lead you to some of the servers you can check out and pick from. Anyways, that is all for this video, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the channel and like the video if you want to support me. It's completely free to do so and only takes a moment of your time. I also have social media links to my Discord, Twitter, and my Twitch channel where I stream MMORPGs like this one on a semi-regular basis. I'll stop my shameless plugs now. If you'll excuse me, I'm on a quest to become a Super Saiyan. I'll see you in the next video.
I wanna be a Super Saiyan! I wanna!